welcome to the Little Blessed Homeschool YouTube channel. My name is Jenna. I am a stay-at-home mom and a homeschool mom of two girls, Lily, who is 9 and going into the 4th grade, and Lucy, who just turned 4 and will be doing preschool this year. We have been a homeschooling family for 2.5 years. This coming school year, the 2022-2023 school year, will be our 3rd year of homeschooling. And I'm super excited about it because I feel like I finally have a grasp on how to homeschool, what to do, and I feel like this year is just going to be the best one yet. Our first year was a hot mess. That was a hot mess. Second year was much better than our first year, but still we had to iron out some kinks. I'm pretty sure going into this 3rd year that we've got those kinks ironed out. We know what we're doing, and that's why I'm sharing our journey with all of you, is because I finally feel like I have a grasp on what to do and how to homeschool and how to do it successfully. So in today's video, I wanted to talk to all of you about how to get started homeschooling. I know that homeschooling is a lot more people are starting to do it, and a lot more people are looking more into it, and they're gearing away from the public school system, private school, charter schools, and they're starting to take the learning back into their homes, which is great, which is so amazing. And so, this video is just, how to get started. So the first thing I would say is that I do live in North Carolina. So every state is going to have their own laws on homeschooling. Some are more relaxed, some are more strict. So the first thing, once you've decided to take the plunge and you're going to homeschool your kids this coming fall, is to check your state and local laws, because they are different. So in the state of North Carolina, we have to file our intent. I think it's called an NOI, notice of intention, I think is what NOI, with the state of North Carolina. Super easy. We just have to file some paperwork. Unenroll them if they're currently enrolled in a public school. Unenroll them. And then the other, there's 2 laws that you have to follow, and it's really pretty simple. You have to take attendance every day that you do school, and you have to do school for 9 months a year with consistent breaks. I believe there was originally a law that you had to homeschool for 180 days per year. I'm not really sure the 180 days. I think that was just a goal to reach towards, but 9 months out of the year is the law. And you can't just do school one day each month. There has to be a consistency. And I believe it has to be for at least a couple weeks within that month counts as a month. I'm pretty sure. So you have to homeschool consistently, and you're supposed to go on field trips and, all that kind of stuff as well. So the first step I would definitely say is to check with your state and local laws. The second step is, if they are in a public school or whatever school they go to, you need to send a letter to the school, either the principal, whoever runs the school that your kid goes to. You need to unenroll them. So you need to either send a letter, you need to figure out how to unenroll them from the school. And in my experience with that, because I had to do that for my oldest because she was in a public school, it was not an easy process. The school was very adamant that I was doing the wrong thing, and they tried to convince me otherwise before they would officially unenroll her. And it actually took me getting pretty stern with them, like, unenroll her. She's going to be homeschooled. I don't want her in this school anymore. So I don't know if it's going to be the same way with, all the schools. I do know a lot of other homeschool moms did not have the same experience. They just sent a letter and the school said, okay, whatever. So you do need to send a letter to the school or call them. I don't know how your school is going to work. And also, obviously, if your kid isn't in a public school and you're just starting out preschool, you don't have to unenroll them from anything. You just have to file your intent online to the state of wherever you live to inform them that you are going to be homeschooling your children. And you got to keep that website up to date. I learned that the hard way, because in North Carolina, you have to go in every year and keep it up to date. And I wasn't aware of that at first, but I am now. So now we keep it up to date. The next thing that I would say would be the most important thing is to start looking around at curriculum. Some people, some homeschool moms, write their own curriculums and they teach their kids whatever they want. And I'm going to say this first, in my opinion, there's no wrong way to homeschool. The whole beauty of homeschooling is you get to do what you want to do, how your kid learn. You get to do what you want. Yes, you still have to follow some laws, but they're they're not like you don't have to use a certain curriculum. I don't think there's any state in the United States where you have to use a curriculum that the state tells you have to use this. I'm pretty sure, almost 99.9% sure that there's no state out there that says you have to use a certain curriculum. You get to do what you want. You can teach your kids however you want to teach them. You can do what you want to do. If your kid learns better by an online school, then by all means, sign them up for an online program. If your kid learns better from a book, teach them by a book. That's the beauty of homeschooling. The freedom to get to do what you want to do is the most important thing that you need to realize when you're beginning this journey. Do your research. Find curriculums. If there's a homeschool convention in your area, go to it. If there is a homeschool store in your area, go. There's one in Raleigh, North Carolina, which is the area that I live in. And it's called the Homeschool Gathering Place. If you don't know it, you should, and if you're in this area, it's a very good store. The people that run the store are also homeschoolers, and they actually will sit down with you and show you curriculum after curriculum, and they'll walk you through so many things. I've gone in there and said, I'm looking for history. I need to switch up our history. Can you help me? And they spent an hour with me last time walking me through all the different history curriculums, and then they gave me suggestions on how to do it. Like one person says how she did history, which was interesting, is she let her child, like when they were younger, let's pick a state for this month, and we're going to learn about that state. And so then they would go to the library and get books and just learn about that state. That was their whole history. They didn't have a history curriculum. She kind of made it up on her own. Now, there's a lot of people that do that, or there's people that stick with a certain curriculum. We, as our family, I found it. We've tried the buy one huge box curriculum and just do that. Didn't work for us. We tried it the first year. The second year, we did mostly the same curriculum, but we kind of mix and match. If you saw my curriculum video for 4th grade this year, you will know that I mixed and matched. I pulled curriculums from all different companies this year. And I just think, I realized after the first 2 years that my daughter learns differently for every single subject. So I had to pick different curriculums from different companies to make it work. So that's another thing. You need to do your research on curriculum. And here's something that was really hard for me to come by when I very first started, is just because you bought the curriculum does not mean you have to continue using it. If you buy a curriculum and it doesn't work for your kid, switch. Don't keep forcing it because it'll make it worse. Because I spent $400 on my first box curriculum, was kind of forcing my daughter because I was like, oh my gosh, $400 down the drain. What am I going to do, But then the Homeschool Gathering Place, they take stuff on consignment as long as it's not written in. So all the teacher manuals, I sent them over to the store because I wasn't going to use them anymore. And they take them. So, you can find a place like that. You can try and sell them online on Facebook, stuff like that. Obviously, the workbooks, unfortunately, unless you didn't write in them, are harder to sell once you write in them. But just know that even if you pick a curriculum and it just isn't working, don't keep forcing it just because you bought it and you spent all this money on it. Another thing, too, is if you're on a budget, there's a ton of curriculums out there that are free. The Good and the Beautiful, language arts, and math PDFs are free to download and free to print off at home, and you can print off the lessons. I will say with math, it's a little harder. I feel if you're not really good at math, that the teacher manuals, how to teach it would really benefit you. But for the most part, you don't need it. And I've heard Easy Peasy Homeschool. It's an online curriculum. I've heard that it's not as advanced. It's pretty like easy peasy, but it's free. And you can download the whole thing and print it off as you please. I mean, there's tons of ways to do it. You do not have to buy a bunch of curriculum, if you don't have that much money. I mean, I get it. Times are tough right now. Trust me, I get it. So there's a lot of free stuff out there. I would be careful about some of the free stuff. Just keep that in mind. Just be careful about some of it. The curriculum is important, but the most important thing if you are doing this for the first time as a preschooler, you get to basically, your kid's brand new. They've never been to the public school system, so they don't know. And so you get to make it what you want. For me, my oldest had spent 2 years in the public school system. So our first year, getting our minds away from that was a little more difficult. We had to basically unschool ourselves. The first year, I will say that I didn't really know what I was doing. So I mimicked the county public school calendar, like almost like obviously parent-teacher work or work days, like teacher work days. I didn't take those days off because, we were at home. But like I took off all the holidays. I took off all the breaks, the same breaks. And I learned after the first year, don't do that. Because if you take off the breaks, all the kids are also off. And, one of the beauties of homeschooling is that all the other kids are in public school. And you can go to the park and there's not 100 kids at the park. Or you can go to the history museum and there's not 100 kids at the history museum. You can go on field trips and there's not a ton of kids. So the second year, I made my own schedule the second year, and it was a great schedule. And again, this third year, I have my own schedule. I don't even look at the public school schedule anymore because unless I want to say, ooh, when are they going on vacation? So I know not to go that week. Is the only reason that I would look at it. But, so the first thing you have to do, again, let me run this down for you, is you need to check your state and local laws. Make sure that you've got those down, you know what to do. File your intent with the state that you live in, letting them know you're going to homeschool. If your kid is already in the school system, you need to pull them out and unenroll them. And then you need to research your curriculum. And I highly suggest really research your curriculum. Really research it. Make sure you're getting what you want. And really, that's all there is to it. Make a plan, make a schedule. I'm a big planner. I have homeschool planners. I'm actually creating my own homeschool planner this year. I'm almost done with it, and once I get done with it, I will be showing it off because I created it digitally, and it's the first thing that I've done digitally, and I'm so excited about it. I'm almost done with it. So once I get that all printed off, I will show you guys how cool that is. But make sure you have a plan in place. Make sure some people are not planners, which is totally okay, and they just wing it. But just always make sure that the one thing that you're doing is you're following your state and local laws, because that's super important. I know in the state of North Carolina, you do get audited from time to time for your homeschool, and they will ask you for your attendance record and your state tests. That's another thing. If your state, which I'm pretty sure all the states do require, they do require a state certified or a certified test at the end of the year. We use the CAT test, the California Achievement Test. It's online, and I really like that test. I may look at other options this year. I've done it for 2 years now, and my daughter really likes it. It's easy test. We do it at the end of the year. So if you do it at the end of the year, you take the test for the year that your child is going into. Some people do it at the beginning of the school year, so then you would take the test of the grade that you're going into as well. Some people do it in the middle of the year, and if you're going to test in the middle of the school year, you test for the grade that they're currently in, is how that test works. There's tons of other testing sites online. Also, in your area, in your county, they also have in-person testing where you take your child to a certified testing site and they test them in person. So you don't give them a test, they do. There's also other people that make up their own test. I'm not sure if that's allowed. I've heard that it's okay, that you just have to test them once a year. But again, your state laws, everyone is different. Some other things that you don't have to do, but I think that they make our homeschool go a little bit better, is we did join a co-op. You could even start your own co-op. Our co-op meets every Thursday, and you go there. The kids take some classes that are taught by other parents, and they interact. We go on tons of field trips. We even do field trips in the summer. Technically, I mean, we just went on, not really a field trip, but yesterday our homeschool group went to a water park together. A couple weeks back, our homeschool group did something, I can't even remember. In June, we did something too. I don't remember. I end our school year at the end of May. So we go from the Tuesday after Labor Day to the Friday before Memorial Day. And a lot of people they end in the second week of June and begin like the second week of August. My children love summer, and they need that 3 months to recoup. So for now, anyway, that's what we do. When they get older, we may change that up. Who knows? I know a lot of people that do year-round school, and they do it lighter in the summer, and they hit it hard in the fall and stuff in the winter. There's just, the beauty of homeschooling is that you get to choose what you want to do and what works best for your child. And I will say that concept was really hard for me to grasp. I used to think you had to do school at a certain time during the day. You had to do these lessons a certain time. You had to do this, this, and this, and this. And 3 years in, I'm finally in the headspace that no, I don't have to do that. I can do what I want. And that took me a little bit, because I grew up in the public school system. My oldest went to public school for a little bit, and it was hard to get that out of my brain, that I don't have to do anything that the public school system does. I don't have to even teach what they do. I choose what my kid learns. So hopefully this video helps you get started. If you have any other questions on curriculum or, schedule wise, like, really quick, I'll just tell you I'll just lay down on what our schedule is. This is what we did last year. We're going to change it up this year, but, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, we did math and language arts every single one of those days. Thursdays, we go to our co-op. So on co-op days, we only do co-op. We don't do schoolwork. And so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays, we would do language, arts, and math, one lesson each all of those days. Mondays and Wednesdays, we would say do history, and then some other activities as well. Or like this year, I'm adding, for my older daughter, I'm adding a living health from Master Books. So like a health unit. And we won't do it every day, but we'll maybe like Mondays and Wednesdays. I haven't planned that out yet. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, we'll do like science. So math and language arts every single day. The electives like history, science, art, we do art sometimes. Sometimes I just put on some music and let the kids paint or do a craft project. I consider that part of school. Stuff like that. And we don't do those every day, but math and language arts are every day. And then we do unit studies sometimes, in between those, we might pick up a unit study, but that's pretty much the gist of how it goes. Our co-op only goes for 12 to 13, depending on if there's a makeup day in there, 12 to 13 weeks in the fall, and then again in the spring. So on the day, like if we're not in session with our co-op, we do school at home on that Thursday, and then Friday is the makeup day. So if we missed anything, if there was anything the kids didn't understand that we need to go over, or we do maybe an educational game or a movie, something like that. But Fridays usually turn into our light days. But when co-op is in session, because we do co-op on Thursdays and we're there from like 9, I think the first class is at 9. So we're there like 8:30 in the morning until usually like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. We don't come home then and do schoolwork, because I feel like the co-op is school. they did school already, so we don't do it on those days. But when it's not in session, we do schoolwork on Thursdays, and then Fridays is usually like a free day. So we really only do lessons like at home 4 days a week. And we don't always wake up at 8 in the morning and start school. And I know that a lot of families do that. We do not. I feel that we get up, we have breakfast as, the three of us. My husband does work from home, so sometimes, he does not really join us for breakfast, but, we make breakfast. And then as soon as we're done with that, we usually take a minute breather, and then we dive into schoolwork. Sometimes we don't even get to schoolwork until 11 or even lunchtime, which is fine. I mean, there's nothing says that you have to start school at 8 in the morning. Public school says that. But remember, you're homeschooling and you choose the schedule. Also, for those of you that are watching for a while, if you do know, I do run my own business out of my home, and there's busy times, especially around the holidays. I'm super busy, and sometimes I have tons of orders to get out, and I have to get my orders out into the post office by the time the post office closes that day. So I work during the day, and then I make dinner because the post office closes at 4:30. So I get my packages in at 4:30. I make dinner as soon as I get home, and then we do school in the evening, and then we go to bed. Because typically our days are about, they might be a little longer now that my oldest is in 4th grade, but they're about 2 to 3 hours max. And so after dinner, we then do our schoolwork. So there's nothing that says that you have to do your homeschool in the mornings, or there's nothing that says that. And sometimes, we haven't done it quite yet, but sometimes if we didn't get to school Monday through Friday, guess what? We got to do a lesson on Saturday or Sunday. And we haven't done it yet, but we almost did last year because I was really busy at one point in my business, and I couldn't get to school work that day. So I did give my kids some arts and crafts to do, and I did give them a reading assignment, but I couldn't get to actual physical lessons. And we were going to do it on Saturday, but then my kids chose to just double up lessons on Monday, which is fine. I mean, it is what it is. You have to do life too. And homeschooling is an entire lifestyle. It is a total lifestyle change. It's a great lifestyle change, and I just hope that everybody who chooses to do it is successful and just loves the opportunity to be at home with their children. I mean, it is probably the best gift that I get to stay home with my children, and I get to be there with them when they're learning new stuff. I get to be there with them when they learn a new letter, or when they, master something for the first time. I get to be there. I get to see that. I get to, be the one that hugs them, not some stranger teacher that they go to school and learn from. I get to do that. And that's the whole point of being a parent, is that you are there for everything. And I mean, it's amazing, and I love it. I love homeschooling. I am so thankful that I decided to do this. I am so thankful that it got introduced to me. It is probably the best gift that I was given from everything that happened over the last couple of years. And I just want to say that if you do decide to go on this journey, I love talking about it. I love teaching about it. So if you want to follow me on Instagram, it's at Little Blessed Homeschool. You can message me there. You can message me on YouTube. You can write something in the comments. Subscribe to my channel. Ask me anything. You can message me and ask me questions. I may not get to them right as soon as you ask them. I'm not gonna lie, but I do see them and I do answer them. I mean, I've answered a whole bunch lately. And, if you have any questions, if you just want reassurance that this is something that you should do, just please reach out to me. I love to talk about it, and you can subscribe to my channel. I know I'll have more videos coming up for this new school year, which is going to be amazing. I already know. But anyway, so if you are thinking about homeschooling, just give it a try is all I gotta say. Is just try it. I mean, if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work, and you can always put your kids back in school, but just try it if you're wanting to. So anyway, thanks for watching, and I will hopefully talk to you soon. Thank you.